After learning dozens of materials about game development, YouTube videos, articles, and especially about the level design, the first thing I did was ruin it. I mean, seriously. I started from scratch and directly jumped into the most common mistake in level design.
What the hell am I doing here?
Hi, my name is Vladimir, and I'm the beginner developer and working on my first game now. And here's the story I want to share and avoid you to do the same mistake as me to save a lot of your time. So, my game is a classical point-and-click adventure about a zombie girl living in a farm and chasing the sly crow who stole her father's brain. And I just started to work on the second scene. First scene had no design. It was created, I don't know, I imagine it for the 10 years, so it was quite simple and it's drafty. But I will work on it later. And I started to work on the second scene. And this scene is a village, a zombie village, where a zombie living, doing regular village stuff. There is a carpenter, there is a blacksmith, and the story here that this crow is flying through the scene and sitting on the water tower at the end. So, about the mistake. So it's quite a simple scene, right? And the point and click, nothing, no very hard and innovative game mechanics or anything. So the problem, I started, I imagined something. I had the image of the level in my head, and well, it was great. I mean, seriously, it was nice. I went through it a couple of times, but only in my head, and because I thought that I have the great level in my mind, I started to draw the details. I draw the different buildings. I started to design and think about the characters. And only after a while, I decided, oh, let me build the scene using this art I already have. Let it build in Unity. And yeah, that went not very well. It's turned out that level was too wide, and going from one point to another, I mean from the edges, was quite long. And I just imagined that the player will need to go through this level back and forth a couple of times, and each of this transaction could be up to the half of a minute of just walking. Oh, you mean walking and doing nothing? And yeah, I know. That's uh, that's boring. And I don't want my game to be boring. I don't want to force people to just walk around, and that's the most common mistakes of the level design, as far as I understand now. And it was the dumbest thing about this that I heard about that a couple of times, but I was completely sure that my level, how I imagine it in my head, is perfect. And that's what our brain do. It took the imaginary object or a couple of objects, and it adding the charm. So it cut the edges. And well, if you will imagine the level, you will not go from one point to another for the whole time. You just imagine like character teleports from one to another and see all of the interactions. So our brain just cut the boring stuff when we're trying to imagine the process and focuses on the joy. And that's how it turned out that my level, as I imagine it, was not fun. So the sad part is that I spent a lot of time drawing art for the level, which is not fit anymore because I was required to start over. And now I'm drawing it again, and I need to do this. I think all of the scene, all of the objects, everything should be drawn from the scratch because it's a 2D, and I can't just rotate something because I decided to move it from one street to another. I need to draw everything from the scratch now, and that's sad, but lesson learned. And after that, I decided not only to fix this mistake, but to work on my scene as it's supposed to be. So I started from just writing down everybody I have, NPCs, objects, most common interactions. But after that, I found out that it's not very useful to have it in the text form. So I opened Obsidian. I'm using Obsidian, and it have plugin for and even built-in functionality to build graphs. And I started to build the graph. I heard the term quest graph, and it's more or less what I did. So I just placed all meaningful and all important events on the graph, starting from edge points, start and end, and started to think about how I will fill this with events. And here is how I started to use my narrative behind the scene. So I asked myself a couple of questions. The first question was, what is the story behind this scene? So how it lives without the character inside? Because I want my world be alive. This means that locations doesn't appear only when the character moves in. It has something happening there all the time. And it should have its small story, which I can partially open during the main storyline, partially can do this in optional side quests, but it should be existed. So the next question is, why the characters here? So how did my character ended up here? Because, well, the world is huge, and my character walked this exact path for some reason, so it should be a motivation of being here. And the next question, why my character can't just live? Because, well, if it's a village, it's not, I don't know, it's not a cage. Person can walk in and walk out from on another side. So there should be a reason why my character will have to stay for a while in this location, and this means that it should be some kind of obstacle that stopping character from leaving the location, or some kind of goal related to this exact location, or some kind of obstacle which preserves from moving forward. Broken bridge, a wall, or I don't know, whatever. And the next question is about this obstacle. Why character can avoid it, or this goal? Because, well, if this is the I don't know, wall, maybe there is a turnaround or small detour, but go through or something. So answering this question, And more of that, after answering these questions for the first time, I have the main obstacle, and it's motivated. It's not just some kind of, oh, I can go here because there's a log over the road. That's it's stupid kind of things to happen in adventure or any kind of game. Okay, so I have the main obstacle, and in my case, um, character can't leave because Crow, with the brain of her father, which are chasing and trying to return, is sitting on the water tower. Okay, we have the main obstacle, but why we can't just go up on the water tower? And this leads to another circle of same questions. We need to understand the motivation of obstacles and behaviors we expect from the player. And again, in my case, the ladder is broken. And more of that, this tower is not very strong. And when character tries to climb up, one of the planks just broke down, so it's risky. And this leads us to the next question: how I can climb up to the tower in another way. And here's the story. I need a ladder. For ladder, I need planks and nails. For them, I need to talk to somebody. And this is how the quest evolves. And my graph evolves as well. After building the graph, I started to think on another important part. Games are about emotions. And I want players to feel emotions. And to better understand how I want to walk through the emotional path, I started to mark different parts and interactions or events in my graph with the labels of the emotions. Here's the fun, here is the empathy and sadness. So combining all of this together, I have the interaction map. What coming after what, and it's involved NPCs, interaction zones. So now I can see all of the transitions I have in my level, and imagine, and not only imagine, I can reproduce how the character expected to navigate through the level. And this leads to possibility to calculate the travel time. It's the term I brought from the logistics. When I worked in IT in the logistics, there was this thing, how much time courier take to travel from one location to another. So time travel. It's just as boring time when character walks or runs through the level. And after that, I can finally, only at this point, I can finally understand how to allocate the buildings and NPCs inside the scene. And after that, I started to draw again. But not, I decided not to dive into details and detailed with all of the shadows drawing. No, I created the simplest drafty sketch and loaded into my Unity and tried to walk through it once again. And after that, I already saw how the travel time reduced twice. So instead of 35, 40 seconds of pure walking, I have in maximum 16 seconds, and that's fine. I heard that cool level designers and the game designers talking about maximum 10 seconds of nothing happens. So it's I assume that there is a rare case when a player will need to travel from one age to another. Most of the interactions will be inside the center of the scene, so they will be short, and this is fine. And yes, they are. I have also attachments for emotions I expect player to feel. So it will help me to work on the mechanics, on the sounds, and on the different interactions that happen in this scene. Um, and yeah, so wrapping up, uh, don't jump into the details when you're starting to design your level. Uh, Instead of drawing or preparing assets of any other kind, just create the draft. And I think if you watched any other video about the level design, you already heard it. Level designers works with the gray boxes and nothing else. Everything else is did by level artists, but since you are, I'm the solo indie dev, and I assume you somewhere near this as well. Um, it's hard. We are all level designers, artists, everything. So that's why we're trying to optimize the process. But this is the bad shortcut. Never, ever, ever, I mean, seriously, never start to draw anything for your level before you will play around the sketches and will confirm. And if you have somebody to test your scene besides you, this is much better. But get confirmation, at least by yourself, that this level composition, level design works for the goals of the scene. Because if not, and you already have the assets, well, you can end up like me by redoing everything from the scratch. I hope it was useful. If you liked it, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Again, I have few experience in game development, but I want to share the most painful things I meet on my journey. So I hope it was useful. And do levels, do games. Cheers.